All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 77, and you guys have been awesome. Got quite a few suggestions for various character sheets, but the one I'm enjoying the most, the one that I'm going to request people do for future character sheet submissions just because of how well it works is Simon Ashtier, a friend of the channel, tweeted at me an image of a character sheet. So I could literally just, like, all I've done is I've gone to Twitter and I've clicked open image in new tab, and now I've got this. So, like I mentioned in my video yesterday, I think it was, we're going to try something unique where I have no idea what this RPG is, other than obviously it's Ghostbusters. And I'm going to see how much I can interpret about the game just based on what we have here. So, let's start this off. So first things first, I think it's relatively obvious here that we are looking at a rules light system. The character sheets themselves, as you guys can see, they come as a 6-up. Which, if you're not familiar with that term, it just means that there are 6 images on a single page, called a 6-up. It's printing stuff that I had to learn back when I sold office supplies. So, compared to something like D&D, which the full character sheet is 3 pages, this is less than a 1/6 of a page, so it's obviously rules light. As we can see, we have 4 skills here. You have brain, muscles, moves, and cool, which I'm into. There's nothing here to indicate actual numbers that they would use. But based on what we have here, I'm going to assume, this is just an assumption, that the numbers that go here are probably going to be relatively small. They're probably going to be single digits. And my guess is akin to something like, well, like what they do in Daggerheart. You're basically going to have like a +2 or +1 or +3 or something that goes in each one of these things, as opposed to something like D&D where you have like a 12 or an 18, and then that also means that it's worth a +1 or a +3. So that's what I'm guessing. Brains, muscles, moves, and cool is interesting to say the least. So effectively, muscles, I'm going to assume, is going to be your strength equivalent. Moves, I've got to guess, is going to be similar to kind of an agility style, dexterity, agility style skill or attribute. Because I would assume muscles, if you're lifting things or trying to do forceful things, you would use your muscles. And if you're trying to avoid things, you would use your moves. Brains is easy. That's your intelligence score. Probably combination intelligence, wisdom. And then cool, I'm assuming cool has got to be charisma. Like, and then thinking about like the 4 Ghostbusters, who, because I have super awesome memory skills, I totally remember what all of them are, and I'm not going to I'm not going to just refer to them as Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis. So let's see. So Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Egon Spengler, and then Winston Zeddemore. So I'm thinking that each one of these things should correlate with kind of one of those 4 Ghostbusters. I'm going to assume that the reason they have they chose 4 instead of 6, which is kind of the industry standard in tabletop RPGs, and there are 4 Ghostbusters that, like, I think Venkman would probably very much be cool. I don't know any of them would be really muscle. I mean, I guess you could call Winston might have more muscles than the rest of them, but that was never like his thing. I mean, both Spengler and are both Egon and Ray uh, could both fit into brains without having that as their best stat. And then Winston, I could totally see Winston just having like equal stats because he wasn't dumb. He wasn't weak. He wasn't unagile or anything, and he wasn't uncool or anything. So he could kind of be the kind of default balanced character. And then it's obvious that Venkman put all of his points into cool. And then both Ray and Egon basically did most of their stuff in brains. So that's it. Then we have these talents. And due to the fact that the talents are listed next to each one of these things, they're not a separate thing. I'm going to assume that talents are somehow related to one of these four attributes. So I think the talents that they list here are going to be closer to skills that we would have in like D&D 5th edition, where you can be trained in certain things. I'm also going to assume that you don't have to have all four of these talent slots filled out. Just because, again, depending on how you build your character, which I don't know how you do in this system, but I'm assuming here, depending on how you build your character, you're probably going to have at least one of these be a dump stat, and having a trained skill in a dump stat can sometimes be useful. I've built monks that are heavy dex wisdom and lowballed strength, and then would take athletics as a skill, just so that I could offset the fact that they had a low strength score, but I still wanted to do athletic things with them. So that's kind of what I'm going to assume here, is that talents are the effective skills. That's obviously where you put your picture and your character name. And then brownie points. Due to the fact that there's nothing else on this card that would count as some sort of hit points or something that would give you a lose condition for this character, I'm going to assume brownie points have got to have something to do with your hit points, or some sort of system that once you run out of brownie points, your character is done. That's what I'm assuming. The fact that they go all the way from zero, or down from zero all the way up to 60, there's a lot of them. So to me, that would indicate, and the fact that they list every single number, to me that would indicate that they are something that is shifting throughout the game. Yeah, so I think brownie points is definitely your hit point system. Whatever it is, that once you run out of brownie points, your character is done for some set amount of time. And then the rest of this stuff is just, this is supposed to be a business card style thing, despite the fact that if it was an actual business cards are, what are they? They're not 9-ups. 9-ups are playing cards. They might be, was it 16? I can't remember. But business cards are only about that big. I wonder if I still have business cards. No, I don't. I used to have business cards because I was a manager, and all the managers had business cards. And I liked having business cards. I like being able to go, this is me. It feels really good to be able to give someone a business card that has your name and a phone number to contact you on. It just feels really good. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of this. The only other thing that I think might have some gameplay stuff on it, the goal here, I think probably has something to do, it probably has some kind of mechanical benefit, or at least it's a role playing aid, similar to in the D&D 5th edition in your background, you can choose all those, what are they, traits or whatever they're called? I can't remember what they're called anymore. Let me look it up. D&D 5th edition characters. Character sheet. Let me see the character sheet here. What was it? Okay, so yeah, the personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. You know, those things, they technically don't have any direct they technically don't have any direct impact, mechanical impact on the game, but they're still kind of role-playing aids, and they still can have an impact on how you play your character, and possibly how the DM interprets your character and things like that. So I think the goal... I'll click on the thing again. Because if I do this, then everything gets all weird. But I think the goal here has got to have something... is at least a role-playing aid if it doesn't have a mechanical benefit, like in Fabula Ultima, like the Origin and all the other stuff. The descriptors of your character actually has mechanical benefits. So yeah, that's what I kind of think about this Ghostbusters character sheet. I am really, really interested in what game this is. Like, obviously this is a Ghostbusters game. I was unaware that there was a Ghostbusters tabletop RPG. And based off of the quality of the scan here, like, this is obviously, as you can see, like the color shift and stuff like here, that's from Inkblade. So this is an actual paper document that was scanned. So I'm going to guess this was probably from either the late 80s or early 90s. For a, yeah, especially with like the dotted lines and stuff like that. Like nowadays you have all of these pre-perforated forms that you can purchase at like, you can get them at Walmart, to be perfectly honest. But they're pre-perforated, and they actually come with these templates that you can load into like Word and that, so that you can actually print directly on these things and not have to worry about formatting it and stuff like that. And so, yeah, with something like this, if this was made nowadays, they would probably use one of these standard formats, and then you just print it on this paper, and then you can just tear it. It's all pre-perforated, and it's designed to go through regular printer. So, or they'd have a form fillable version. Yeah, no, I really want to see what this actually is. Simon Ashtier is, I think I mentioned that before. They're the ones that actually tweeted this at me. Simon, if you actually own this RPG, let me know. Otherwise, if you're just aware of it, in the comments down below, just tell me what the name of the actual RPG is, and maybe I'll see if I can't find it somewhere. Maybe they have, like, Drive-Thru RPG has gotten really, really good at resurrecting old dead RPGs from forever ago. So I'd be interested to see how this game actually plays. But that's kind of what I've gotten out of this. I can't really tell much else from the character sheet. Like, I don't know what kind of dice they would use or anything like that, because there's nothing on here that would indicate. If I had to take a guess, I don't know. For a game this rules light, most rules lights games don't use D20s. Most of them will use a number of D6s, maybe going up into like D8s or D10s. But if I had to guess, again, especially if this comes from like the late 80s, early 90s, if I had to guess, I would say that this probably uses a number of D6s. Probably like 2 or 3 D6, if I had to take a guess. Because it would make sense for something that's banking off of a franchise that was very, very popular, but not really with nerds. I mean, I guess it was, but it was popular with everyone. And Bill Murray was a huge name. I mean, so was Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. and Sigourney Weaver was in it, and Rick Moranis was in it. Like, they had a bunch of really big names. Um, yeah, I don't think they would force you to get actual polyhedral dice. I think this probably used D6s if I had to guess. So yeah, that's everything that I personally can get out of this. For anyone that has not seen this, if you've already played this game, you've already seen the rulebook or anything like that, don't I don't want to say don't click a comment, but don't try and like guess stuff. But if you, like me, have never played or even seen the Ghostbusters RPG, what other stuff do you think you could come up with based on just looking at the character sheet? Put that in the comments down below. And also, like I said before, if you guys have, this was super fun. I had such a blast doing this. I'm gonna go. Let's go back here since we're done. This was just super fun. I had such a blast doing this. To me, this is, I don't know why, but this is like peak geekiness for me. Like form and layout and stuff like that has been something I've been focusing on really heavily in the past like year or so. And like good character sheets and bad character sheets and stuff like that. Especially since I've had to use them on designing new dragons. So this stuff thrills me. Anyway, so yeah, if you have other RPGs, like I said, either in the comments down below, just give me the name of the RPG and I will look up a character sheet for it. Or, if you want to be nice like Simon was, find an image of a character sheet from an RPG. Go on Twitter, I'm at Trainer Jody on Twitter, and just tweet at me an image of a character sheet, and I will do this again. This was super fun, guys. Let me know if you guys thought this was fun. Because I had a blast doing this, and I can't tell you why. I've no idea why, but it was really cool to me. Anyway, it's gonna be all for me today. I will see you guys then the next time. All right, bye bye.